Okay, so now I am going to solve a mock test AIT and I am going to solve the mathematics and the physics sections in this paper. Okay, now let's do the first question. So here given is that S and S dash are the length of the perpendicular on a tangent from the foci. A dash are those from the vertices. C is that from the center and E is the eccentricity. And we have given the equation of the ellipse and we have to find the s dash minus c square by a dash minus c square. So in this question do we have to take any arbitrary point and we have to write the equation of the tangent. So suppose this is an ellipse with the axis like this. So we have to take any point on the ellipse and we have to draw the tangent to the at the point. So like we can assume S1 and S2 as the focus and C as the center of the ellipse. So we we can get S and S dash by drawing the perpendiculars from the focus to the tangent, and A and A dash are the it is from vertex. So let us assume this as vertex 1 and this as vertex 2. So so basically, we have to solve this by taking in a arbitrary point, or we can just take in some well-known point and we can substitute the equation to get it quicker. Like if you take a point on the, like if you take your point on the vertex, the tangent will be parallel to the y-axis, and so S and S dash will, which are the distance from the foci, will be a into 1 minus c if you assume A is the length of the semi semi major axis, and we will get A dash as A into 1 plus c. You can get C as the A and A as 0 as we have, as A is the distance from the vertex given and A dash is the distance from the vertex to. So if you substitute that, you will get the answer as E square. So this is simple. Like you can, if you take any arbitrary point and find the length of the tangents, it may take more time. So instead of you can take any well-known point which you know the tangent direction and the distance from the point. You can simply substitute as the answer will be same for every point. So you can take from the general point to specific point to solve a question. Let's save this on YouTube. So here here we have given an ellipse equation, a chord which is passing. We have given a point through which a chord is passing. So what we have want to find is the locus of the point of intersection of the tangents. This is our point 1 comma 1. What we have to find is, so we have to take any chord which is passing to the 1 comma 1. Let it be anything. So we can just assume the slope of this current chord as m. So this is our view. So we will get 2 point of contacts from the chord. So if we draw tangents at the point of intersection, we will get the intersection of point. Our question is to find what this point looks like. Like if we change the chord, what will be like? It can be any shape. So to find this, let's assume we can have the slope m, and we have another condition that if the line is passing through the 1 comma 1, so we will get the line equation of the chord. In this case, it will be like y minus 1. So if we substitute this line in the given ellipse equation, we will get the 2 point of contacts, and from the point of contacts, you can easily find the equation of the tangent. So we'll get the two equations L1 for the point tangent from the first point and L2 the tangent from the second point. So we can find the So after that, we will get the point of intersection of the two tangents. So here we are varying our line with the parameter m. So if you see the after getting the point of contact, if you get the equation you the points which you got for the m, and basing on the relation between x and y and m, you can get a one of the options here. So it will take time. Generally, you can skip this type of questions to do for the end. Now we'll move to the next question. Here again we are given the ellipse. This time we have given the ellipse. This is again of the same form, x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to. And here we have given a tangent of slope, and it is also given that this tangent is a normal to a circle. So from the circle equation we can get the point like the center of the circle. We will get as minus 2 comma 0. So it will be somewhere here. And since it is a normal to the circle, any normal to the circle passes to the center. So above the line, now we have the we can generate the line. We have the point of like we know a point through which the line is passing, which is the center of the. So we can write y is slope of the circle plus the this is the equation of the tangent. Now we have to find A and B and depending on. So okay, so if we know that okay, suppose the tangent is drawn from x1 and y1, assume our point is x1. So we will get the so by if you remember that the tangent to x1 and y1 will be of the form xx1 equal to 1. So these two are the same. So for our x1 y1 we get the above, we should get this above line. So on substituting the values and simplifying the values, we will get relation between x1 and y1. This line, this tangent also should pass to minus 2 comma 0, and we also know that the slope is 2. So using these two conditions, we can get a square and b square values, and we can substitute a square and b square values here to get the answer. So I am not doing the calculation part, and this question is also a little bit lengthy. In triangle ABC, if medians from B and C are, so this is again a geometric question. And if you try to solve this geometrical question generally, like without using any assumptions, it may take more time. So basically, in this question, you have to just assume some more features. Like this is a bigger class of triangle. So suppose if we assume here ABC is an isosceles triangle with the value of D and angle B and angle C are equal. So just in that case, we have to find one of the angles since cot B will be equal to cot C in that case. We can assume a isosceles triangle in which B equal to C. A, so since this question is about the angles, we can assume the side values also. We can assume each side is of the length 2 without any loss of center. These are your medians, and it is given that medians are perpendicular. For this triangle, we have to just find the value of cot B, and we have to multiply 2 by 2. So we know that since this is a isosceles triangle, the length of the median from C and length of the median from B are equal. So we can say this length equal to this length. Let us assume the whole median length is equal to x. So we know that the medians intersect at centroid. Let us also assume the centroid is at G. So the whole length of the median is x. So this length will be 2x by 3. The above length is x by 3. using the hypothesis theorem, you can get the value of x. Since this is a triangle, you will get 4x squared by 9 plus x squared by 9 equal to 1. You will get the value of x. So after getting the value of x, you can find the angle of this. So after getting the value of x, you can find the length of the BC also. Again, by using hypotenuse theorem, you can find the length of the. Suppose it is y. Then we know all the sides of the length. Then using the cosine rule, you can find any angle. So you can get some cos b is equal to, use this formula, cos b equal to a square plus c square minus b square by 2ac. Since we know all the values of the size, we can substitute it and we will get the cos b. Then from the cos b, we will get the value of cot b. And since b and c are equal, we can multiply the cot b into 2 to get the answer. So let's move to the next question. Point O is inside an equilateral triangle and the distance from the sides are given. Then length of the side of the triangle. So to solve this question, if you know if you know a, if you have to remember a sort of theorem or a rule, so the rule is like this. So if this is our triangle and this is our given any random point, we know the distance from the sides in this one, the perpendicular. So there is a theorem in which, so for any point O, if you calculate the sum of the this all the three sides length, will get it as the same as the altitude of the triangle. So we'll just get it equal to the altitude of the triangle, which is equal to root 3a by 2. So since we know the every value, we can just sum it like root 1 plus root 27 plus root 48, and you can equate it to the length of the altitude, which is root 3a by 2. So we can get the value of it. So to solve this, you should know this property or the theorem for the equilateral triangle and any inside point. So we will go to the next question. The question says, does 110 triangles can be formed by joining 10 points as a vertices in which n points are collinear? Then the value. So basically, if you have 10 points and you have to find number of triangles formed by the 10 points, you will get the total number of triangles as. So we have to select any 3 points and we can make a triangle. So we'll get a total of 10 C3 triangles. So, but actually, so if there are no collinear points, we can get as what 10 C3. And given that 110 triangles are formed, so we have to subtract the pay, means the three items in which the items are so suppose we can if they are like n collinear point, we can, if you select any 3 points from this n collinear point, we can, these are not a valid triangles, but they are valid a set of combination of 3 points, but these are not valid vertices since collinear points cannot contribute the triangle. So we can get by by finding the value of this should be equal to the number of triangles formed. So finding the value of n for this, you can get the value of number of collinear points. Next question. This is a statement. The statement says the range of the function y is equal to ax plus b by c does not include the value a by c. So you can just see this as, you can suppose if we equate the value of ax plus b cx plus d as the value we need to find. So range of the function means it has to be equal to the value a by c for some x. X may be anything, but it should be equal to a by c if it is in the range. So If we multiply the cx plus b and ax plus b, we can find that we can find that BC is equal to AC. AD should hold for such condition, but in the question it is given that it is not hold, so we cannot find the value for such x. So we can say that the range doesn't not include the value a by c. Now the statement to say the domain of the function does not include the value a by c. So you can easily see that if you take the value a by c, the denominator will become 0 and we cannot find the value of the 0. So in such cases, we exclude typically the values which will due to indefinite forms like 0 by 0 or something divided by 0 or undefined. We simply exclude those values from the domain. So here that we cannot take y equal to a by c in the domain because the denominator is 0. So this is required. This is the question number 7. We move to the next question. At E equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and F is equal to 1, 2, then the number of onto functions from E to F is. So onto function means we. So this is our E which has 4 values. So for to get the onto functions, so a onto function means everything in the value of the image or the set f here should at least mapped with any other at least one function in the f. So here one should be mapped to at least one of the following and two should be mapped to the two, and these can be mapped to any at least one is required and the second one is like the remaining ones can be assigned arbitrarily. So since here the number of sets are less, like number of elements are less in each case, you can manually check how many such combinations are possible. Or so like let us assume this one has the like n is mapped with k where k is greater than 1, then 2 should be mapped with 4 minus k since the total number of mapping should be 4. In this k you can find any, so we'll get this as 4ck where we are choosing points 1, 2, 3, 4 to assign for the value 1. So if we choose this, the remaining will be automatically assigned to the different value. So we have to find the summation of this for k is equal to 1 to k is equal to 3. So finding this value will give you the answer. The solution set of. So this question you can see from the graphs of the sine inverse and cos x plot. After plotting the sine inverse of x and cos inverse x, you can plot the GAF functions. So from the graph you can get the answer. Draw the graphs for this both sine inverse x and cos inverse x, and you can compare using the graphs of this. So sine inverse of x, the domain will be the -1 comma. The value of y will be from pi by 2 to minus pi by 2. We will get graph like so for cos inverse of x again the domain is -1 to 1. But here the range is between 0 to pi for the cos inverse x. So we get the graph. So we get a graph of cos inverse x like this. So you can plot the greatest integer function and you can check the where the greater get a complex number. A is equal to sin theta where alpha, so we get alpha is equal to something. So to get a quadratic equation we just need to know the sum of the roots and product of the root. Sum of the roots we will get alpha plus beta which is equal to a plus a square plus a cube plus a 4. So since a is a 7, seventh root of minus 1, so first we can write a is a root of this x power 7 is equal to 1 equation. So if you simplify this as this equation, you will get x minus 1. Given a is a root of this solution, we can say a a6 plus a power 6 plus a power 5 plus and so on a power 1 plus 1 is equal to 0. So the sum of the roots will be minus 2, and you can multiply them to get the product of them. And if you multiply this alpha and beta and simplify the value, you will get the value of the product of the roots. So by the sum of the roots and product of the roots, you can get the quadratic equation. So now we move to the other question. Here it is given omega is a cube root of unity. We have to find a root of the. So this we have to find a determinant of the given. Intuitively, if you keep 0 in this, we will get 1 omega omega square omega square 1 omega square 1. So if you rephrase this, if you replace row 1 with row 1 plus row 2 plus row 3, we will get 1 plus omega square in all three elements, and which will be equal to the 0 as omega is a 2 root of omega. So in the top row, you will get 0, 0, 0. And the equation holds. So since a row is a 0, you will get the value of the 0. So sometimes you can, without solving the entire problem, you can just substitute the value of the x and you can find values of the whether the substitution is giving the exact value or not. So in this case, it is giving the value which is required for us as 0. We can directly keep as x equal to 0. We have given a function f of x which is a 8-degree polynomial. So in the above equation, if we substitute x with omega x based on the power of the k, we will get the values. So like omega power 1, so omega power 3 will be equal to the 1. So if you write all the three equations and if you add it, we can get the value of the n. It's given the two tangents of the. So if you want to check whether 2 points are 4 points or points, it will take uh, so much time. So we will skip this question for now. We are given a circle and a rectangular hyperbola. That if the line AB passes through the center of the circle, then this is another again a general problem. We can solve general problem as a specific problem, like the specific condition. Here it is nothing given about the having just it is given rectangular hyperbola, which is generally of the form xy equal to c square. You can assume the parabola hyperbola as xy is equal to 6. Here the order AB is not given, is passed to the center. Okay, this question will take more time since we have to assume A and B are on the diameter of the circle. From the A and B of the circle, we have to find the center of that. So we will skip this question also. Okay, the 15th question. The line 2x plus y equal to 1 is tangent to the hyperbola. If this line passes through the point of the intersection, this is our hyperbola. We have given the tangent which is 2x plus y. The directrix are there are two directions given that the line passes to the point. So okay, first you can find the directrix using so now for this x square by a square by y square by b square equal to 1, you can put the directrix. And we know the point of directrix and we know it passes through 2x plus 1 equal to 1. So if you take y equal to 0, x should be half, and we know the directrix will be half. And also this is a tangent to the hyperbola x square by a square by y square minus b square. So for this to be a tangent, we tangent of the equation, this have to be followed some certain rules, and we'll get a relation between a square b square by using the fact that this is a tangent to the hyperbola. And also since we also know the directrix, the coordinate of the directrix, we will get relation between a and b. Solving these two a and b's, we can find the value of a and b, and therefore find the eccentricity of the hyperbola. So we will go to the next question. The least integral value alpha of x such that x minus 5 by x squared plus 5. So first, since the fraction is greater than 0, we should get both the numerator and denominator as 0. So for the numerator, we can draw the graphs of the equations given here. So let us consider the points where the equations become 0. So x minus 5, this equation will become 0 at x equal to 5. And below x square plus 5x minus 14, this has the solutions x equal to 2 and x is equal to minus 7. So we have to, so when we, if we consider the case which is left to the minus 7, we'll get the denominator as negative, but we will get the numerator positive. So whatever the integers which are less than minus 7, we don't need to consider. So if you take x equal to minus 6, then the numerator will be negative. Also the denominator will be negative, since in this between minus 7 and 2, the polynomial is negative. So we will get minus 6 as the least integral value. Find for the options for which minus 6 is the option. We can verify this quickly. So x minus 2y is less than root 2 j means. First we have to find where the following points lie. So it is given mod of z minus 2y, which is equivalent to the distance if we draw a Cartesian. So this is our point 2i. Our distance should be less than or equal to 2. So this is the points of which we have to come. And we have to find the maximum. So this is our all the values of z. So we have to find the maximum value to z minus, right? So we can again consider, we can shuffle the value, we can multiply with iz and minus 1. We will get relation like it is some distance from 3 comma I, and we have to find the maximum value. So we will get some relation like zi plus 3. Okay, sorry, you can do the following. Since we have to find the absolute value, you can just multiply with I, since multiplying with mod I, which is equal to 1, you cannot get any difference. So if you multiply with it, we will get z minus 1 plus 3i, and so the we will get something like point, and we want to find a value which is the greatest distance between this point. So since we have known a diagram of this, we can say that this line should pass through the center to get the maximum distance. So we can find the point at which maximum distance and the distance also. We are given a 6-degree equation, and we have asked to jump the following. So here we know the sum of the 6 roots are 12, and products of the 6 roots are 64. So By comparing AM and GM, here we can, I think we can get the roots here. So let's try. We will get the AMS 1 by 6, which is equal to 2. We know the geometric mean is equal to, okay. Since here we have arithmetic mean and the geometric mean are equal, we can conclude that all the elements of the roots are equal. So we have sum of equations as 6x equal to 2. We'll get x is equal to 2 be the only root. So B and B, C, D, E values can be found given that we know, since we know the equation is x minus 2 whole power 6 is equal to 0. We have to find the greatest value of the coefficients here. We can expand this and we can get the value a of the, we can get which value have the absolute. Given z1, z2, z3 are complex numbers, each mod z1, z2, z3. So this implies all the 3 points are lying on the circle, and product is equal to 1 cos theta plus 1. Or we can define z by this theta. Since we know z1, z2, z3 equal to 1, we will get theta 1 plus theta 2 plus theta 3 is equal to 2 pi. And also, okay, first we will we have to find the value also. Okay, for this solution, let's try whether we can substitute the value of z. With the substitution work, you can get it easily. So with the substitution may take more time. Okay, we can do this later as it will take time to expand this one to equal it to the. So if z is a complex number such that or z minus 1 equal to, this is a equation of a circle with center as 1. We, we have to find the possible value of the arguments 1 by z minus. If you substitute the value of the z and you can, if you rearrange, you will get a locus of the given argument. And you can find by substitute, which is the following reason. Valid value for theta here. Next question. The real values of x and y for which the equation is satisfied. In this question, you can just put the values, all the values here, and you can see which of the values are satisfied. If none of them are satisfied, you can choose the option. So now we got a probability question. The card is lost when a pack of 52 playing cards from the remainder of the pack and is found to be spade. The probability that missing card is a spade. So it is just like we have picked 2 cards and first card is lost and we have picked another card. Let we can define the required as that our first card should be a spade, or given our second card is also a spade. So this question is equivalent as that you have drawn 2 cards from the pack and first card you have that think it is missing, like as given, like initially a card is lost, so we can think that our first card whatever we are taking from the pack it is lost. Now we have 51 cards and we have another, so if we take a card from this 51 card, it is found that it is a spade. So we have to find the first probability that a missing card is spade. So we can say the first pick is spade and second pick is spade, and we have to find the given this. So this can be found x2 is equal to spade, x2 is equal to spade. So in the numerator we will get easily as the probability for a spade of 4 by 52 and probability of second card is spade given that first card is spade is 3 by 50. So now we have to find the probabilities that the second one is split. So so there can be two cases in the first card. Like the first card can be not a split and first card is a split. We have to find. We have to consider both the cases. So first consider the first card is not a split. For the probability such that first card is not a split is this is not. Here we shouldn't take 4. See, there are 13 split cards we have to take. So there are 13 split cards. All split cards if we take 13 split. So this is same as the like if we assume the spade is first pick is spade. Now there are 13 spades left. Right? This will give us the value. Where die is thrown and number of times the probability of always getting a number. So this question. So let's assume that we have thrown. So the probability of getting a number greater than the previous number, and this is always given. Let's assume we get the first number as 1. So the next number should be 18. See this question later. Because if we assume any like the first pick as the 1, the second pick can be second and the third pick values depending on the first and second and so on. So every time we will get if we use naive approach, you will get a lengthy solution because we have to take all the cases and we have to find the value of n. So we will go to the next question. So the question says that two persons A and B have equal number of sons. There are three simultaneous tickets which are to be distributed among the sons. All of the tickets go to sons of A is 1 by 2. So let us assume there are n children for A and n children for B. So we can assign distribution of the tickets like we can say that total number of like choices for picking 3 students in the two n children we can have 2 n C3 if we distribute 1 to each of the. So it is given that probability that all tickets go to the sons of A, which is equivalent to NC3. It is given NC3 are the favorable chances for like there are NC3 ways that all the tickets go to the sons of A. So we can say that our required probability is NC3 by which is given as 1 by 20. So by expanding the sequence we can find the value of n. So we are given a function and we have to find whether the function. So we have to find out what the nature of the function, whether it is increasing or decreasing. So let's look the first part of the function. X is a function that increases indefinitely. X, since it is asking me about increasing and decreasing, we can just check f the nature of the f dash of x. So if we differentiate, we get the f dash of x. We can check like if given the radius of minus infinity, you can take some points as 1 or minus 1 and just check whether by substituting the the value of the f dash is positive or negative. If it is positive, it is increasing at x. If it is negative, it is decreasing at x. So we can conclude that x is increasing or decreasing by checking all these domains like 0 to infinity, minus infinity, which is like minus infinity to 0 and 0 to infinity. So we can just check this whether dash is greater than 0. So this question we have to find the maximum value of f of x. First we will simplify the f of x. since it is an improper function, we can just so to get the maximum value of the function, we have to get the minimum value of the denominator. If you check the determinant of the function given, it is less than zero, which implies there is more room for the following. So this will have the minimum value at minus b by 2, like substituting the value of x as minus 2, we'll get a point of minimum. And if you substitute the value of x, we'll get the maximum value of the function. So we can equate that value to 5k plus 1. So we have a function f of x is equal to log pi plus x by log e plus c. So get again find the value of f dash of x, and since the options are like pi by pi by, we can take a value which is greater than pi by e. We can take value of x equal to 1 and x equal to 2, and we will substitute x equal to 1 in f dash of x and x equal to 2 in f dash of x, and we at the particular points then we will be able to find whether the function is increasing or decreasing. So by checking the options, if at both points if it is increasing, you can choose increasing. So you can solve it by substituting f dash of 1 and f dash of 2. So this question says a equal to sine 40. So what we'll do is we'll multiply and divide by sine 45, which is equivalent to sine cos 45, so that we can rearrange these terms into a single term. So if we multiply and divide it by sine 45, if we multiply with sine 45 and cos 45, we will get sine 45 into sine 45 plus cos 45, which is equal to cos of a minus b. So similarly, below, if we multiply with sine 45, we will get sine for cos of 45 minus 45, which is cos 1. Since we know cos is a decreasing function between 0 to pi by 2, we can conclude that cos 0 is greater than cos 1, which is the a is greater than b. The sum of the series sin x, sin 3. Okay, this type of questions, you can just substitute value of x and n to find out. Like we can take some x is equal to 60, which multiples will be easy to find. Or you can select any points as 30 or 60, and you can select value of n as keep something low as 1 or 2. So if you substitute and verify whether first option is holding or second option, but you can find this quickly and you can choose the correct option. Okay, so we have 0 less than alpha less than pi by 3, then alpha into secant alpha. Okay, so we know secant alpha is an increasing function between 0 to pi by 2. So here the secant alpha is increasing, and secant of pi by 3, we will get secant of pi by 3 as 2. So we can say, so this in the range of 0 to alpha to pi by 3, we can write secant alpha less than, obviously alpha is less than pi by 3 in the range. So if we multiply, we'll get the alpha secant alpha is less than 2 pi by 3 if k is equal to limit of x tends to infinity. So you can easily see that this is of a form infinity power infinity. So we have to find out the greatest. We have to find the coefficient of the greatest power n. So in the denominator it is x power 1. Here if we expand, we will get x power n plus mc1 into x power m minus 1 into kx something. So here we will get, since it is a sigma of k is equal to 1 to 1000, we'll get the 1000 as the numerator above, and we'll get the coefficient of x power m as 1000 in the numerator and coefficient of x power m 1 in the numerator. So for finding out the limit of r infinity for infinity, we just need to check out the first coefficients. So we can say the value of k will be 1000 in this question. So we have to find the limit of this question. Limit x tends to 0, secant x minus secant x power secant x by 1 minus secant x by secant x. So let's substitute 0 and check whether it is how which type of function is this. So numerator so secant x is equal to 1. So 1 minus 1 over 1 is 0. The denominator 1 minus 1 plus 7. Okay, this is of the form 0 by 0. We can apply L'Hospital rule and find the equation. You should know the differentiation of x power x. It is x power x minus 1 into x. So if we can use the L'Hospital rule to find the limit in this question. F of x is equal. So this is also we have to find. Again, we will get it 0 by 0 form by substituting in the equation. So we have to use the L'Hospital rule again to find the f of x. So question number 24. We are given a matrix 2. Since it's a 2 into 2 matrix, we can easily find the inverse of matrix. And here the inverse of matrix is given as alpha into I plus beta. First we find the inverse of the matrix. But maybe we didn't have to find the inverse of the matrix also. We just multiply a into a inverse 1 equal to alpha into I into a plus beta into a. So you have to find a square or a minus 1. So I think it is better to find a square. So we will multiply with a both sides and we will get I is equal to alpha a plus beta a square. Since we know we can find alpha plus beta and alpha plus beta can be found after calculating alpha and beta. So we will go to the next question. If I is equal to, this is just a matrix. If I is given, it is a multiplication of two matrix and unique matrix. So we can say I is equal to 1001. So A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 0. We can get A square plus B square is 1. Question number 36. This is the same question as the previous one. This is not the same question. So we can see here tan theta, it has minus here, not here. If it is minus here, we can we can say directly it is multiplication of matrix and unit of matrix. So here we have to first find the inverse of the matrix and we have to multiply this. So this will take some few minutes for finding the matrix, inverse matrix. So after finding the inverse matrix, we will multiply it with A and B. So this and the next question are almost same. So we'll go to the next. Now we are into the physics part of the paper. So the first question says a body cools from 60 to some 40 degrees in 7 minutes. What will be the temperature? So this can be found using the Newton's law of cooling the surrounding temperature. So in the using the Newton's law of cooling, you can get a temperature rate del theta. Del theta will be depending on the average temperature. Sorry, minus the surrounding temperature. So using the Newton's law of cooling, you can find the temperature after some. So here again we have to. So the loss of heat is directly like the rate at which the heat is lost is directly proportional to the difference between the temperature of the body minus the surrounding temperature. By integrating it, you can find the So if you assume it is linearly related as in Newton's law of cooling, we can by integrating it we can find the answer about the time at which this will be dropped. So we have to the next. It's given that two solids here will be made of the same material, same radius. Spheres are cooled at same temperature. The ratio of rate of temperature A and B. So this we have to write it down. Right. So rate of temperature is directly proportional to. So if we write the terms like so rate of heat loss can be found using the tool like for 4 into surface area some constant. This is equal to the power loss or loss of energy. But you can equate this to the loss in temperature. Like we know the amount of heat required to for a body to change from temperature to A1 to A. It is like mass into specific density E minus dV. This is the heat required to drop from the temperature. Here mass is dependent on R cube. So if we substitute this, we get the rate at which the temperature is delta T, which is here is changing. So we'll go to some. So with respect to ground flow, we like the actual velocity will be v minus 5, where v is the velocity. So given it is the balloon is moving with constant acceleration of 5 meters per second, so we have to find the velocity of the stone related. We have to just find the velocity of the stone. So assume the speed is v at the point of like the suppose at time t we are releasing the stone. So if you assume v as the velocity of the balloon at time equal to t, so after 2 seconds the velocity of the balloon will become v plus 10 since it is moving with constant acceleration upwards. Whereas the balloon velocity, like the stone velocity, which is initially v minus v, it will be decreased due to the gravity, which is on the downward side as 25. So this is the velocity of the stone, and this is the velocity of the balloon. So relative velocity is the stone is moving with 85 meters per second downwards with respect to the balloon after that. So we go to the next question. This is also a train of 50-meter length is moving towards north at a speed of 10 meters per second. Parallel. So we have a train which is moving with 10 meters per second towards the north, and we have a parrot which is traveling with 5 meters per second south. So we need to find the time taken by the parrot to cross. So if you take the point of view of parrot, from the point of view of parrot, the train will be approaching towards the parrot with 15 meters per second, and the length of the train in the view of parrot is 150 meters. So the time it taken to cross it will be 150 by 50. So, so the time taken will be 10 seconds. We have another question based on differential. A train of length L move with the constant velocity Vt. A percentage back of the transfer towards the target axis. We have to first basically in this type of questions we have to make a clear diagram and where at what points what events are. You make note of at what time and what position. the events are happening, you can. So we have time L, the is speed VT. So the target is a D. A person who is at back of the tank shoots a bullet towards B. Another person who is at the front of the track is shooting after D is equal to. Since it is given that speed of the bullet is same, we can assume so, and both of the bullets are hitting at same speed, and both are hitting the target at same time. So we can consider that at T is equal to T, the first bullet is near the front of the train. This is because both are hitting it at the same time. So we can say that the first bullet is at the front of the tank at the time of T equal to T. So the distance traveled by the train is equal to L. This is equal to time into. So here we have to carefully see the speed of the bullet with respect to train. Here, so since it is not given with respect to the train, we can assume that the speeds are given absolutely. The speed of the bullet with respect to time is the relative velocity of action will be VB. Since I think we have to consider VB relative to the time, then we get VB plus VT relative to the gravitational. Four identical circles are located in each which the particles exist. So here, due to the gravitational force, the four particles are moving in a circle. So to a particle to move in a circle, you must have a exact centripetal force. The centripetal force is here provided by the gravitational. See the FPD of a particle. Here the gravitational pull will be this side, and this pull will be this side. This pull will be this side, and the overall force will be this. And this is equal to the centripetal force, which is mv square by r. Given it is the square of side A, we can get r as a by 2. So we can substitute mv square by r and we can find the gravitational force by the formula G m1 m2 by distance between the particles, where the distance is equal to a. So if we resolve the direction of the, if we resolve the forces into and get a resultant force, we can equal to the centrifugal force, and we can find the velocity from the equation. So we have a solid sphere of uniform density and applies a gravitational field. So here the the force by the cavity can be found by. So initially assume a force F1 is acting. So initially assume the cavity is not there and it is filled by the original material. So the force F of the O of the complete sphere can be resolved as force due to the cavity and force due to like force due to the material with cavity plus force due to the cavity material. So and this can be found through by the formula the resultant force, the complete resultant force can be found, and also due to the cavity can be found. So we can just do F2 as the force of complete sphere minus cavity by F of cavity. So we can find this value. Two large objects of mass average of its velocity. It is given that minimum velocity. So we have to find the minimum velocity so that object which is thrown from A should reach B. So If you think carefully, it is just enough for the party. So for the minimum velocity, it is just equal to, it is just enough. If it is just enough to escape the force of the body A, it is sufficient. So we have to see, check that the point have to reach up to the position where the resultant force is zero. Because if the resultant force is zero, then if we even if we move slightly, then we will be under the influence of B and we will reach them. So it is just sufficient to reach to the point of midpoint of the A and B pairs. So using the conservation of energy, we can find how much minimum velocity is to reach the midpoint where the velocity we can consider the velocity as zero at the midpoint, and gravitational potential energy can be found using the distances between the point and the V. So in a Bohr's model, the electron moves around the proton, and this is due to the electrostatic force, and we can equate the electrostatic force with the centripetal force. We are given a potential field. We know we can find the field from, like, given we are given potential, so we can integrate it to find the field, and the force is the charge into the field, and we can equate with mv square by r, and from that we can find a relation between r and n. The energy of an electron in nth orbit of a hydrogen atom is given. Energy required to excite the electron from first orbit to third. This is simply the difference between the energy levels of the first orbit and second orbit. You can calculate it. And this will be the unit of electron volt. Let's suppose that two electrons are orbit around one proton. So in a Bohr model, we know the total energy is equal to minus potential energy by, sorry, potential energy by potential energy is minus 2 times of kinetic energy. So here we can using the formula, and given it is 30.6 eV is the energy required by ionization. So each orbit has 13.6 eV by n square as a potential energy. So mechanical energy can be found using the relation between potential. Okay, we get a meter deflection. Meter which question. So we know the, so meter bridge circuit use the principle of Bridgestone bridge. So to get a zero deflection of the galvanometer, we have to make sure that the resistance R by length of the A by resistance S by length of the S should be equal. So we are given a length. Okay. Since there is an end correction, we have to add the end corrections of L and beta. So after adding mean and using the Wheatstone bridge circuit principle, we can find the corrections. So this is a, okay, this is a potentiometer principle. So the length, the overall length is 10 meter, and we have to find the balance in length, and here the resistance is changed. So we can just equate it with the resistance of the initial length to the resistance of the replaced one. Since only the rod, only the AC is replaced, so first we can find the voltage of the circuit by using the given circuit. So after that we can find the length of the new balancing length using the potentiometer formula. Okay, this is a formula basically because shows it to, okay, this is also a potentiometer. Here we are using an extra resistance of 9.5, and we are getting a balanced length. So without using the 9.5 we have to find the internal resistance of the cell. So at the balancing point, both are both like we have the voltage to the HS0. So we can use a loop. So we can use Kirchhoff laws to find the voltage at A and the voltage at B, and this should be equal. And we can find the voltage at A, and we can find the balance in there. Since the voltage at here and voltage at here are same, we can find the internal resistance by equating them to be equal. This you have to remember the formula for the potentiometer. This is a small planet is revolving time period. So this is again we have to equate the gravitational force and the centripetal force, and from the velocity which we obtain we can relate it to the omega, and which intensity we can relate it to the period of revolution. So after equating and solving, we'll get T will be proportional to R power n, which we can be found by calculating. So we have a planet is revolving around the sun in a having eccentricity to equal to the time period of revolution is 16.5. So we know that a planet sweeps equal area in equal time with respect to focus. So first, if you find the area between the the overall area of a ellipse is pi AD. So the area of the so if it is moving from A to B, we will get a shaded region like a. So we have to find the area of this section. Since the overall area is pi AB, we can say the area of this part is pi AB by 4. And this, since it is a right angle, you can say the area of this half into base center. So for the overall pi AB, it takes 16 months to sweep the overall area. We need to find the area required to sweep the given, like if we find, and we can use the simple ratio to find the number of months sweeping. Okay, this is also the same. We have to equate the gravitational forces due to the two other particles, and we have to equate with the centripetal force. And we have to find the velocity at which we have to get. Next question. Two parallel conducting rails in a hot and are connected to at one end by an inductor. The slider is imparted a velocity v. Upon the rails, assume the period of oscillating motive conductor. So first we have to equate the force, and if we move the rod to a distance of x, if we equate to some force like F is if we equate it F is equal to K minus Kx, we can find the period of oscillation. So first we have to find the force when it is moved, and we can if we equate it the minus 2 we can find a period as 2 pi into root of k by m. We can substitute the value of k which we find above. So first we have to find the force acting on the rod if it is moved. After finding it, you can directly substitute it. So we move to the next question. A ring of mass 4 kg is uniformly charged with a linear charge density and kept on a horizontal force a time mayhem and find a time at which when the just starts rotating on the surface. So to the so at the point of just the ring is moving, we know that the torque due to the gravitational force. So we if we consider from a at a end, so let me try and so suppose this is the ring, so it will be like this. So assume this point as here, one here. So at the at the time of general due to the magnetic field is equal to the torque due to the gravitational field, you can find both of them. The gravitational torque can be found by mg into the distance, and the magnetic torque is can be found by charge into magnetic field. You can use the cross product and you will get both the terms and you can equate it. And you can see the time at which both will be equal. That will be the answer. The next question is flexible circular rope of time lies in the magnetic is polaritic points indicated. The average EMF is you have to find the average EMF. The average EMF can be found as the rate of change of flux. So since here the area at which the loop is there, since I think the flux is not changing to the loop, I think the average EMF will be zero. Because initially and finally the entire loop of even though it changed its shape, the flux passing through it is same. So I think the EMF should be zero in this case. 825 cm long string is fixed at fixed mass and that's it. So from the formula of the first harmonic frequency and second harmonic frequency, we know tension and frequency is related as the time period and tension are related. So using the formula and we know the frequency difference is between the both. So first to find the frequency with the initial condition and next we have to find the frequency with the tension P. Okay, we go to the next question. Yes, the transverse pulse is created at the top point of the uniform rope suspended vertically. Okay, so here if the rope doesn't have any mass, as the velocity depends on the tension of the string, the tension will be uniform if the rope doesn't have any mass. So it will be smooth. But here, given it is a uniform rope, so that means it has certain mass, so the tension will be changed and the tension at the top will be greater than bottom. So I think the speed will be increases as the tension increases. So here it says the length of the tube has been halved. So we have to find the fundamental frequency. So we can just directly use the formula and we know that length is half which will affect the wavelength of the waves. So in the next question, we have given the electric potential at a point, and we have to find the electric field. So first, you can find the electric field in the with x and y, and you can substitute x square plus y square as a r. So if we integrate it with x and y, we will get I think we will get x plus. So we have to integrate it to find the electric field density. So from after integrating it, we will find the answer. In this question, a battery is connected to past 20 charge to a time. Potential difference is given. Okay. The work done is simply the charge into the potential difference. So we can say it is 300 here. What is the radius of the environment? So here if we we have to find the radius of the center after distributing. If you distribute the charge into two regions, we will get 4 UC and 4 UC. So we should equate the final energy to be equal. So after equating the final energy equal, we can find the radius of the mu. In a double slit experiment, when glass plate of thickness is d is to the central maximum will be the slit. So it since the position of the central maximum doesn't change, it implies the path after the path after the slab is introduced. Yes, it should be a multiple of the wavelength since there is no difference between the phase between the initial and final. So since they ask for the minimum thickness, so the minimum thickness, so the extra length minimum should be equal to the pi. So we can say the length which should be added. So when we insert a glass plate of 1, refractive index 1.5 and thickness t, we get the difference of the length as 1.5 minus 1 into t mu minus 1, and that should be equal to the wavelength here since they asked for the minimum thickness. So by substituting the value of mu, we can find the thickness which will be equal to 2 pi in this case. In Young's double slit experiment, the distance between slits and screen is 1 meter. The monochrome lighter wavelength sensor is used a persistent different weather principle when the separation between slits is very the interference disappears for a particular distance between the slit in triangular resolution of the eye. Resolution of the eye. I think I didn't have enough knowledge about this topic, so we'll go to the next. In Young's double slit experiment, relative intensity may be defined as ratio. So the ratio of amplitudes of the two waves. So we have two waves and the minimum and maximum intensities are as shown in the figure. So the minimum intensity is 1 by 9 or 1 by 9th of the overall intensity. So when both are combined, we will get the maximum intensity. When one is more and one is less, we will get 2 minus 7. And after finding the amplitude ratios, we can find the okay. We have found the amplitude ratios only. So we can after solving this, we will get the okay. Now the time is up, and also the physics complete. Physics section is also completed. So we will end this session now.